When I have time and space, I want to avoid blocks. We talked about how to do that with the dip and drive technique, okay? So we'll talk about avoiding blocks here with time and space on a kickoff. All right, we have a backdoor move, all right, that is to the blocker's leverage. We have a speed move that's away from the blocker's leverage, and sometimes we catch that man in no man's land and just run him over, and we call that a knockdown, okay? So when we backdoor, what we're saying is the blocker is giving us a butt side. He's telling us eventually where that return is going to go, and the shortest distance to get to the ball is by defeating that block to the butt side, okay? So he's got leverage. We want to go get it. We're going to dip and drive and beat him butt side, all right? So here we are working that in a off-season workout or a summer workout. Okay, we're staying in a speed position. We're not slowing down, all right? But when we get to that butt side, we're trying to reduce our surface area to defeat that blocker. All right, same thing going back the other way. All right, and our guys know which way that return is going based on that butt side. All right, let's watch one from a game. If you look up top, okay, just inside the hash there. All right, here comes the blocker. All right, there's the butt side. All right, and we defeat that block, butt side, with what we call a backdoor move. All right, puts that cover man in great shape right there to be involved, all right, at the point of attack. All right, another look at it here. Here he comes down the field. All right, he recognizes his blocker. He's got plenty of time and space. Right now, he's probably 35 yards from where the ball is. All right, there's the backdoor move, okay, and he's involved in the play. Okay, a speed move, all right, again, if the blocker gives us butt side, we should have an idea where the return's going, but sometimes that blocker's got too much leverage, all right, and if we did go backdoor, we might not have any space. So now we'll attack that blocker, try to keep him going, and create more space to avoid the other way, all right, opposite his leverage. We call that a speed move. We want to step on his toes, and if we go speed, we need to stack him, again, because the butt side should be telling us where that return's going, all right? So same drill we watched earlier. Here's our guys staying in speed, all right, but now when they use a speed move, they know they've got to stack that man, all right, to eventually get back in phase with where that return should be going. All right, again, a great drill that you can use in the off season or in preseason. All right, you could slow it down and do it at a teach tempo. All right, same thing going back the other way. We want to make sure we work it both directions. All right, and here's the same game that we showed earlier, Memphis against Tulane from a couple of years ago. Same player. All right, and now he goes speed. He goes away from the blocker's leverage. All right, but then he stacks the blocker. He flattens himself out. He's able to keep the ball in front, and he makes a hit on the 17-yard line. Really big-time stuff right there. So we like to say every play is its own entity, right? Every play may play out differently. All right, slightly different scheme. Or in this case, maybe this guy's just late getting there to block him, so he can't backdoor him. The guy's got too much leverage. All right, he goes speed, all right, and he gets to a stack position. Great job. Now, what happens if I don't have time and space? It's really important for your guys to understand if they get closer to the ball and they avoid, right, they may be opening up a vertical seam for that returner to gain yards. So the closer we get to the ball, the more we have to think about fronting up the ball, okay? If the blocker's in phase with the ball in close proximity, now we want to go through him, because if we go around him using that speed or backdoor technique, right, the ball can get vertical and gain yards on us. However, if the blocker is not in phase with the ball, then the heck with the blocker and just go make a play on the ball and front it up. All right? When we need to go through the blocker without time and space, we use a two-gap technique, all right? And you may use this on defense, and if you do and you call it two-gap, it's great to carry it over and say the same thing on special teams because, again, it's easier for the guys to understand it. If you call it something else, I would encourage you to call it the same thing your defense does, okay? We want to keep our hands on the block, our eyes on the ball, our feet gaining ground. Again, leverage is advantage. We want to get our near foot in the ground, tight hands and elbows, okay? And not disengage, stay in speed, knock the blocker back. Don't disengage until the ball declares to the right or the left, okay? So here we are teaching this, all right? We've got 4 blockers here at the top of the numbers, okay? They're simulating a blocker, all right? Here's the cover men. They should be getting their near foot in the ground, trying to put their hairline on the chin of the blocker, all right? But then get their head out of it, keep their eyes on the ball, and once that ball declares right or left, disengage the block and make an angle tackle. All right, the benefits of this drill, if we're doing it well, our blockers should be working, creating contact from a power position, okay, so they should be getting better, and then our ball carriers are working ball security. So it's not just a two-gap drill, right? We're cross-training, right? Everybody's getting something out of this drill, right? And that's something that we try to reinforce in our meetings. All right, another look at it. Here's a skill group doing it. That last group was big skill players. All right, so the guys will just go from one to the other to the back of the line and so on. All right, and in 2 or 3 minutes, we can get a lot of quality reps, right, in each aspect of that drill. All right, now here's a competitive drill where the cover man is working his two-gap technique, right? There's a returner in the drill. There's little time and space. The blocker is working, creating contact, right? He's getting to a power position to try to block there. All right, and when you watch the cover man, he's staying in a speed position. He does a really nice job of getting his near foot in the ground, all right, staying in speed, but he keeps his eyes on the ball. Once that ball declares, he disengages and makes a great angle tackle, okay? So you can see a little bit of the teaching progression going from drill work at a teach tempo to a competitive drill that we would try to replicate a full speed game rep, right? And now let's carry it over to a game, all right? So here's a clip from a few years ago at Maryland, and this is a great teach clip. If you watch the guy coming down the pro numbers, okay, he gets to a position where he feels like if he goes around this block, he might create a vertical seam. So he goes through the blocker, two gaps the blocker, but keeps his eyes on the ball, does a great job timing the disengage, and gets a hit on the 20, okay? On the very same play, if you watch the next cover man here on the other side of the kicker, he's doing a great job flying down the field. He's probably the first man down, okay? But watch what he does. He goes and attacks this blocker even though this blocker is not in phase with the ball. So what I would argue here is this is a great decision by this cover man right here to go through the blocker. But over here, I'm attacking a blocker when the ball is all the way back over there. I think we can avoid this block and go make a play on the ball, or maybe go two-gap the off returner. So one clip and 2 great teach clips out of it, all right, in terms of a good decision and probably a not so good decision. Because watch what happens here. He two-gaps this guy, but the ball is way in here, right? So now he's not in position to go make a play to go front up the ball.